All right, so we're going to start, Mike. Are you ready to start with us?
Heck yes.
Okay, so obviously we're here now to speak about you, Mike Visaggio, and of Kinetic Element, which is your album, which is your band, and the album Travelog, of course.
Yes.
That came out in 2015, right?
Yes, it's almost 2 years old, and I'm kind of trying to pound some sense into my guys, telling them we've got to get another record done.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So anyways, Mike, we want to welcome you here to Progcore Live on Progcore Radio. It's about time, eh? It's about time, Mike.
I'm very, very enamored of Quebec in general, and Quebec City and Montreal in particular. We've now gotten to play once in Montreal and once in Quebec City. So, and everybody I've met up there has been wonderful. So.
Yeah, and we're part of that group that you met up there too. Don't forget.
Yes,
don't forget.
We have the pictures to prove it.
That's right. That's right.
The blackmail photos, I know.
So anyway, so Mike, listen. Thanks for sharing your time with me and Denis, and with our listeners. This is very, very appreciated by all of us, and I hope that hey, you have a great time with us today.
You and me both.
Excellent.
Moi aussi.
Ah ben tant mieux, merci Mike. Okay, Mike, our first question would be, why did you guys choose the name Kinetic Element?
Wow, that's a great question.
I know.
This is my drummer's idea.
Oh, it is, eh?
And Michael Murray, the drummer, actually came up with that because at the time, I'm going back to 2006 now, because the band is over 10 years old now. And Michael had come on board with me after I made my solo CD, Starship Universe. He played on some of it, and he decided he wanted to throw in with me. So I was going to go out just as the Mike Visaggio group or something like that, because I mean, that's what it was. It was a solo project. But Michael wasn't having anything. You know, he wasn't having any of that. He said, no, we need a band name. So there's not going to be any Mike Visaggio band. I said, you're joining me, and you're going to tell me what the name is going to be? But he said, yeah. I said, I think I can come up with one. So he sent me a bunch of things that had kinetic in front of it. And he says, do you like any of these? And it was like kinetic energy, kinetic, adversity, kinetic, I mean, all kinds of bizarre stuff.
Right.
And Kinetic Element was about the fourth one down on that list. And I said, that sounds good. Let's just go with that.
Excellent.
But Michael can take credit for coming up with the name.
Excellent.
Okay, and where's the band from, Mike? Where are you guys from?
Everybody in the band is from Richmond, with the exception now of our singer, new guy, St. John Coleman. John is from the Norfolk, Virginia area. But Michael is from Richmond. Todd is from Richmond.
Now, Richmond, what state? What state are you in, Mike?
I shouldn't say we're all from Richmond because Mark Tupko, the bass player, he is an import from Poland.
Oh.
And Mark came to America about 20 years ago, and he's a naturalized citizen. He loves being here. He is a tremendous player, and
yes,
he still speaks with a very thick Polish accent, so it's always an adventure trying to communicate stuff with him. But he has a great musical rapport with us, so the language is not a big problem.
Now, when you say Richmond, what state are you in?
We are in Virginia.
You're in Virginia, okay. That's what everybody knows, Richmond, Virginia, but hey, there's a few different Richmonds in the States, I'm sure.
That there are.
Excellent.
Richmond, Indiana, Richmond, California, Richmond, Kentucky, and all that. But Richmond, Virginia, the capital of the state.
Okay, so you kind of answered our question, but who? Seems like you formed the band, and in what year was this?
I guess about 2005, I decided that I wanted to do something other than being a band that was playing everybody else's songs, playing the bars.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and I said, well, you guys can take this whatever you think it's worth. I basically prayed. I asked God what the heck to do. And I kind of kind of sort of got a vision. I don't know how to describe it. I just saw something and I said, okay, I'll do it. And so I did it. And I got a pretty good, out of the clear blue sky, I got an offer from a guy who owns a recording studio down here that he said he didn't even know how he had gotten my phone number. He called me up and said, I hear you're a keyboard player. Could you play on some of my stuff? And he had a studio. And so I exchanged playing on his songs for studio time for my songs. And that's how Starship Universe came into existence.
Okay.
And now I forgot what the question was. I talked too much.
Well, the question was, I was going to say married. In what year was the band formed? Because I know you.
Oh, yeah, that's it. It. Well, what happened was when about 2006, after I put the record out, Michael decided he wanted to throw in with me on the drums, and he brought down a guitarist and a bass player. And the guitarist didn't like it too much, but the bass player thought it was great. And so we started off as a trio, just me on the keyboards, this fellow Matt Harris on bass guitar, and Michael Murray on the drums. And I said, this is sounding pretty good. Maybe we don't need a guitarist. So,
that's kind of weird, though.
Yeah, for the first couple of years, we were going out kind of as an ELP-sounding trio. And I was doing the singing, which I should have known better than to do that, but I was doing the singing, and so that was when we came to Montreal. I had contacted a guy named Dan Seligman in Montreal there, and he runs or used to run something called Pop Montreal. And I hit the right guy. He heard what was on the CD, and he said, yeah, we'd love to have you come up and play at the festival. So we took a ride up to Montreal in the fall of 2007. I guess the band's official birthday, though, is September 23rd, 2006. That's when we decided to make a go of it. And then we wound up with Todd Russell coming into the band in late 2008. And if you guys have been listening to it, you know what a talent he is on the guitar.
Of course.
And so that kind of took a lot of the pressure off me. So I was able to go back to hiding behind the guitar player.
Okay, Mike, if you don't mind, we're going to listen to the first track from your album, Travelog. This album came out on the 1st of June 2015, and this is an epic track, War Song. But before we play it, do you have anything special to say about this song?
Well, yeah, I can tell you two things about it. First of all, all of these songs, it really is pretty amazing how they all grew out of one idea.
Oh, really?
And that little riff on the organ at the beginning of War Song was like a seed from which the rest of the thing just kind of grew over a period of time. The whole idea of the Travelog album is the sacredness of individual liberty. And this song here kind of is about how people, as far as I can tell anyway, used to feel about liberty, that it was worth any price, any sacrifice. It was worth like John F. Kennedy said, to bear any burden in order to make sure that liberty survives. And this is a song really where the protagonist of the song is a soldier who gets separated from the woman that he loves by the war. And while he's away fighting, she can't wait for him to come back because her previous boyfriend was killed in the same war. So she kind of freaks out and she goes off to the center of the country while he's over in Europe fighting. And by the time he gets back, she's gone. And the whole point of the song is that, I have all of these great feelings about liberty and defending my country, but in the end, it cost me the thing that and because I can't say this from experience,
Yeah.
because it didn't happen to me, but I do know somebody that it did happen to, and it cost him something that he held the most dear in his life outside of his idealism for what liberty was worth.
And this guy is very close to you, Mike?
Well, he's a friend of mine he's deceased now, actually.
Okay, sorry about that.
This is a long time ago that I knew this person. But I had a lot of these lyrics kind of scribbled down in various places. And as we started to work on the song, I started realizing not only were the pieces of the song starting to fit together, but the lyrics were starting to fit together in my head too. So we put it all together when you get War Song.
Wow. Sounds very, very emotional. And it's going to be 20 minutes that definitely we're going to listen to very, very closely for sure.
Okay.
So here we go.
War Song from the album Travelog by the band Kinetic Element.
And then we'll be back after that.
Right on.
Hi there, this is Mike Visaggio of Kinetic Element, keyboardist and founder, and you're listening to Progcore Radio, the number one 100% prog rock and indie station in Montreal.
All right, you guys ready for this? Please welcome Kinetic Element.
that she'd love me from dusk until dawn. Not a moment more would she bestow me, for the last man she loved was still gone. See, he never came back from the war, and she never did see him no more. He had told her for God and for country, he must walk from her charms, be a brother in arms as before. She had no reason to doubt me when I told her I'd measure her pain, for I found myself feeling so deeply, but I saw I was feeling in vain. Nevermore could my promises hold her, nevermore would my promise hold me. When the notice arrived in my mailbox, it was all I must fight to be free. See, he never came back from the war, and she never did see him no more. But I too have God and a country. I shall never look back when the bastards attack. There is space in my mind for a love left behind. I'm lamenting what could have been so very good. She was true all along. It was I who was staging the night. the ship took me home to my town. And the brilliant and funny lass waited. No, she hadn't, she did not stick around. See, I hadn't come back from the war, and I never did see him no more. Now I still love God and my country, but I feel
Okay, so we're back now. We just listened to the War Song, a great song, emotional song. Mike just told us a heartwarming story there just before the song. And this is from the band Kinetic Element. The album is Travelog. Came out June 1st, 2015. And we are with none other than a big Alouettes fan, Mike Visaggio, here today.
Here's to you, Mike.
All right, Mike. So here we go, Mike. We're going to continue with this Q&A special feature with Mike Visaggio. So, Mike, can you tell us who are the actual members of your band and what instrument that they play?
All right. Well, I kind of hinted at this a minute ago, but of course I play the keyboards. I'm the founder of the band. I'm really an organist at heart. I play the other keyboards mainly because I like to have more sounds, but I always kind of think of things in terms of the organ before anything else. The guitarist is a gentleman named Todd Russell. And Todd, I guess I said, came on board with us in 2008, and somehow he's managed to stick it out all this time. He's just a tremendous player. He's a real Steve Howe nut. A lot of people can hear Steve Howe's influence in his playing. Have told me that.
Wow.
And he is the guy that's the most educated musically. He's got a PhD in orchestration from some college or other. And in fact, there's a song that you guys are going to get to it later where I came up with this pretty crazy heavy metal sounding riff, and Todd we were learning it together, and Todd said, write that out for me so I can I'm going to do something with that. Comes down to the next band practice, and he's made it into a fugue. The guy is just,
wow.
He's just awesome. The drummer is a guy named Michael Murray. Michael's been with you from the very beginning, so he's like me in this thing for 10 years now. And of course, we're getting older faster, as you can, what that's like.
You're right. We all do.
And Michael is a very good drummer. His favorite drummer is Neil Peart, but he probably plays closer to a Bill Bruford kind of style than he doesn't have the flashy. He doesn't have the flashy virtuosity of Neil Peart. He's just got the meticulous precision of a Bill Bruford kind of player.
You've got the right people around you.
Bill Bruford doesn't like to do drum solos, right? Mike doesn't like to do drum solos.
But Neil Peart does.
He just prefers to fit in with the music overall.
Be part of it.
And just power it forward.
Mm-hmm.
Todd is the guitarist. I said Mark Tupko is the bass player. He came over from Poland, as I mentioned earlier. In a lot of ways, he reminds me of Mike Rutherford, the way he plays. He's not like really he's like Mike. He's not really a virtuoso player. It's just that everything he does just fits. And if I give him a part because I want to hear a certain bass riff or I want to hear a certain melody, he has no problem. Just tell me what the notes are. And he just executes it very well. And then we've been through a bunch of singers. We were getting pretty desperate for a singer when we were making Travelog. And I just couldn't find anybody. In fact, the gentleman who's with the band now, St. John Coleman, he actually is on his second go-round with us. He for some reason, it wasn't working in 2013. He was about the best we had heard, but somehow it just wasn't fitting right. And so we decided we needed somebody different. I wound up approaching the fellow who is the head man, I guess, in a band called Odin's Court out of Maryland. And Odin's Court has a lead vocalist by the name of Demetrius Lefevers. And Demetrius is just a force of nature. You just heard him singing on War Song. and he also will be singing on Travelog and another song. Demetrius, we thought that he was going to be one of these guys who can be in more than one band, but his personal situation and his commitment to Odin's Court kind of caused him to realize after recording 3 songs with us that he couldn't continue. So we wound up having to call we wound up calling the lead singer from Brave, a woman by the name of Michelle Schratz, and she sang on the 3rd song, Into the Lair, and another Christian prog artist from just north of New York City named Mike Florio sang the 4th song on the album, Her. So we were using all guest vocalists in Travelog. We really didn't have a singer. But sometime after that, I remember, we were just, there I was back singing at band practice, and, so everybody was tearing their hair out. Because I have a decent voice in the studio, but if I get a lot of help from the engineer, I can kind of sort of pull it off. But when I get out and try to play live, I'm doing 5 keyboards at the same time I'm trying to sing lead, and I always go flat. I get nasal, and everybody says, "Shut up."
Okay.
So, and I'm the best one we had.
Wow, so you got to keep hunting.
But at any rate, we probably could have had Mike Murray be the lead vocalist if he wanted to do it, because he said he has a real sweet voice, a real sweet high voice, but he just really didn't want to be the front man. So Todd was saying, maybe we should call St. John Coleman back and give him another chance.
Another run at it.
And that's what we did. And he said to us, look, he said, instead of me trying to fit in the way you guys want me to fit in, why don't you let me do kind of what I want to do and see if I don't fit in better.
Right.
And so that's what we decided to do. I said, what do you want to do? He just wanted to play the songs at top volume at band practice. He just wanted to let it rip, And it was like hearing a completely different singer.
Wow.
So we decided to, okay, we'll do it this way. And rather than continue to bang our heads in trying to find a vocalist, if we do it John's way, maybe it'll work out.
He's just being himself, I guess. He's just doing it, Yeah,
so John has fit in pretty well, and he's been working with us on this new piece of music that we're trying to put together. Besides the fact that he's learned all of Travelog, he's learned most of Powered by Light. Plus, we have a collection of Prog cover songs now. We're doing Mission by Rush. We're doing In the Court of the Crimson King. We're doing Roundabout by Yes.
The classics.
Stuff that people know.
Yeah.
We're doing In the Dead of Night by UK. And we're even doing a Moody Blues song called Question. A lot of people know that song. And we're looking at adding maybe 1 or 2 more.
Wow.
But he's doing a bang-up job on all of it. So, we're glad to have him. His name is John Coleman. We call him St. John.
Why St. John?
It was just something that kind of slipped out somewhere along the line. And so he's going to use that for actually his stage name. He's going to be known as St. John Coleman.
Listen, he must be a good guy.
He's good. Plus, he's a real big. He's a barrel chief. He's a lot younger than us. I'm 60, going on 65, believe it or not. And our guys are 60 and 65. John is now the baby of the band at 50.
Wow.
But he's a barrel-chested guy. He's a real character. He wears a kilt, and
stage presence. That's good.
Yeah, and his day job involves harvesting dead people's brains, if you can believe that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we have 2 guys in the band that are involved in organ work, because Todd works for a company that matches people up for organ transplants.
Wow.
And Michael's an IT guy who famously said, I'll just slap together a computer.
Uh-huh.
Because he can do it. Mark is involved in print advertising, and me, I drive 18-wheelers.
Wow. Very different things you guys do for sure. It's cool.
But
yeah, and all of us wish all we had to do was play Prog.
Yes, yeah, you're right. I know. Maybe one day, Mike.
Yeah.
Never too late.
Nowadays. Go ahead.
All right.
okay, Mike. Before we listen to another track, how many albums are there, and what is the year of the release?
All right. Well, the first album really was my solo album, Starship Universe. That's 2005. The first album that we did as an actual band was Powered by Light. That's 2009. And then we went through a number of changes, and we wound up not getting another album out for 6 years. So the second band album is the current one, Travelog. That's released, as you were saying, 2 years ago. And if God willing, we'll get another one out before next year.
Hope so.
Excellent.
Hope so.
And that's all I got for you.
All right.
Okay.
So now we're going to listen to another track there, Mike. You good with that?
Yeah, how about it?
All right. So we're going to listen to this time. We're going to listen to something. We're going to listen to Travelog, of course, which is the title track, right? And this is from Kinetic Element, and of course the album Travelog. You got something to say about that, Mike, before we go?
Just about this song Travelog. What's going on here is that besides the brilliance of Todd Russell's composition, the almost medieval sounding classical guitar stuff that he wrote, and the kind of almost like a Scottish Highlands kind of instrumental section. What happened with this song is that Todd happened to run across online the original poem of America the Beautiful, and he noted that it had been changed over time, I guess because of somebody's agenda, which is a subject I could go into, but I won't. But anyway, it had been changed, and he wanted to do it justice by using the actual poem as it was originally written, set to music. But he didn't want it to just be about America. He actually, I think, wanted it to be about liberty itself. At least that's what I get out of it. Todd is not always so blatant about what his lyrics mean, but what it says to me is that liberty itself is what's truly beautiful, more so than any particular country, and he got this across by not mentioning America by name. And the refrain of the tune is a cry from a heart that is wondering what's happened to liberty. Where did it go? How has it been corrupted? And I guess, there's more that could be said about that, but that's how he sees it, and that's how he set it to music. Because the character in the song is seeking, a rebirth or a refinding of liberty with all his heart, and he's crying out. So I think the music pretty well captured that, and it's just a great thing. Have a listen.
Okay, well, we're going to listen to it right now, Mike. We're going to listen to the title track, Travelog, from Kinetic Element, the album Travelog, and we will be back with Mike Visaggio today. Question-answer session. Mike, thanks again for being with us, and we'll be back after this track.
A pleasure. Hi there, this is Mike Visaggio of Kinetic Element, keyboardist and founder, and you're listening to Progcore Radio, the number one 100% prog rock and indie station in Montreal.
gaze on thee, till souls wax bare. Oh beautiful as earth and air, and music heart at sea. Oh beautiful photography, whose terrible passion strands. Oh beautiful, a thoroughfare for freedom leap across the wilderness. Oh beautiful, that shed his grace on
So we just heard the song Travelog. It's from the album Travelog. Kinetic Element, of course, the band, and we're here with Mike Visaggio, the face and the co-founder, or I guess, founder of this band. So here we go with a couple more things we'd like to know about you, Mike, and the band, of course.
Okay, Mike, after your solo album, which is called Starship Universe, and this was in 2006, you were invited to a festival in Montreal. Could you tell us how did this come about, and what festival was it?
All right. Well, I'll take the second part of it first. It was,
Sure.
as I've already mentioned, Dan Seligman brought me up there to do a gig at Le Divan Orange.
Ah.
I think it was, I can't remember the name of the street it was on now. Boulevard Saint Laurent?
Saint Laurent,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And the way that it came about was, because this was before Facebook, this was before MySpace even. Well, no, it wasn't before MySpace, but I can't remember exactly how I found out about it, but I saw that there was a festival. I wanted to play somewhere, and I wasn't averse to traveling to do it. And so I sent Daniel a CD and a little bio of the band, and I told him, we're really kind of just starting out, but it's an original project. It'd be something different. Would you guys consider having us? And much to my surprise, I get an email back from Daniel saying, "This is great. Bring it on up."
Excellent.
Okay. He said, "You'll have to play for the door." Don't. I said, I'm not really worried about the money. So he puts us in this place. We didn't go to the Divan Orange first. He puts us in this place that was some kind of a death metal club.
Oh, really?
A death metal bar.
Wow.
And 5 days before the festival, I get a note from the bar telling me that they refuse to have us play in their festival, in their venue, because the CD is too Christian. Because my first CD was I told you how I got started on this thing. I thought it was something where, the Lord was leading me to do something. So I said, well, I'm going to honor you for that, and I didn't make it wasn't like a heavy, repent from your sins kind of thing.
Right.
It wasn't anything like that at all. Everything in Prog is philosophical in nature, right? That's how my lyrics are. Well, somehow they got hold of it, and they saw that I was giving God a little bit of credit in the liner notes, and all that pissed them off. So they said, no, you're not playing here. So I called Daniel back up, and Daniel was very upset and embarrassed that anybody in Montreal would do that, But I guess, spiritual things are spiritual things no matter where you are. So Daniel said, I'm going to put you on another venue. He says, don't worry. Okay. So he puts us on as the tail end of a 5-band extravaganza that some promotion company in New York City was putting on up there as part of the festival. And they said, this festival, all these bands will be done by 11 o'clock. So you guys will go on at 11:30. And I said, all right, that's fine, just you just want to play, right? So we go up there, and of course, wouldn't you know, these bands went on till well after midnight, right? And it just, I don't mean to put anybody's music down because, music is a matter of taste, but it sounded like utter noise to me, literal synthesizer noise. Just, imagine the craziest Moog synthesizer stuff you've ever heard. And that's what I heard coming out of that club for 5 hours, right? Because we got up there in the afternoon. And so I'm walking up and down, and these people, the kids were walking up and down outside there too, and they were just like, everybody was kind of messed up. And I just walking up and down the street going, so this is what it's come to.
Yeah, you got to follow that.
So, but anyway, we got in there and we played, and we after driving for 16 hours from Richmond to play for an hour and a half, we got to play for 7 people at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, really?
And you want to know something? Those 7 people were just out on their chairs cheering. That, for the 7 people we played for, to me, it was worth coming.
Wow.
Well, that's nice.
It's a great story, man. It's a great story.
And so we left, and we left there with like $35.
But you made 7 people happy.
Yeah, but we made 7 people happy, and plus we went to a restaurant that was out of this world. I can't remember which one it was.
They're all out of this world here.
It was a lot of fun. That was so that was 2000 and was that that was in 2006. I can't remember the exact date.
I think it's 6, but it could be 7.
Wow, excellent story.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Mike, obviously, I don't know, good, bad memories from that, but you've had other festivals, I'm sure, that you guys have played in, right? Other gigs over the years?
Yeah, we were fortunate to land a gig. What I consider our first important gig was at a place in outside of Washington called Jack's, which is no longer there. But we were the opening band for Circa. If you remember those guys, they were like they would a band of guys that had played in Yes. You had Billy Sherwood in that band, and Jim, I can't think of the guitar player's name now. He's a lefty, but and Alan White played in that band, and Tony Kaye played in that band, and that was great because I actually got to talk shop with Tony Kaye. After the gig, I actually got to talk about the Hammond organ with Tony Kaye. It was great, and he was very nice, and very rewarding for me because he actually said to me, says, Mike, I really like your band.
Excellent.
And so, and we wound up playing with at Orion Studios in 2008 in Baltimore, and in 2010 we were the Also in 2008, we were the opening band at the Prog Day pre-show in North Carolina. It wasn't on the festival itself. They had a pre-show at a bar. And did that again in 2010. And then we're back at Orion in 2010 in December. That was when we were doing Fanfare for the Common Man, was our big cover tune at that time. In 2011, Alan Bayerjian brought us up to Boston to play the Magic Room.
Wow.
Where he actually let us headline there. And Resistor was on that gig, and Eccentric Orbit was on that gig too. I guess 2000 what? I mean, I can't even remember what happened in between. I think we got sidetracked into playing the bars in Richmond for a while, which was a big mistake. But anyway,
You guys been around.
yeah. At any rate, we got in, as a result of putting out Travelog. George Roldan invited us to play the after party at Rozfest last year, and then a lot of things happened to other bands, and we wound up falling into the opening slot on the main stage.
Wow.
And so that was, I mean, that's not how I wanted to get there by other bands' misfortune, but we were there, and it was, the people gave us a standing ovation, so I guess they liked it. And of course, while I was trying to get George's attention, I succeeded in getting Michel Bilodeau's attention. And so he brought us up to play Terra Incognita last year.
Quebec City.
So we did 2 festivals in 1 year. After trying for 10 years to make a dent in it, we finally made a dent in it last year.
Good.
As I say, and now we're going to be out in Chicago in October for Progtoberfest. But that's really all we have at this point. And we're just trying to, I'm angling to try and persuade the gentlemen that do Summer's End to have us over there in England, because that's kind of that's my next big objective. I'd like to bring this music to the people in Europe at some point, because I know people in Europe love symphonic Prog.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do, Mike.
But whether or not that's going to happen remains to be seen.
All right.
Well, best of luck with that, anyways. So now, Mike, we're going to take another break. We're going to listen to another track from the album, Travelog, of course, and the track is called Into the Lair, and that's the 3rd song. And before we play the song, do you have anything to say about this song?
Yeah. Well, besides the fact that Todd composed the fugue in the middle of the piece, and you'll know what it is when you hear it, because we have this instrumental bit in the middle where I do all kinds of crazy stuff on the keyboards, and then it's a 4-part fugue using the riff that the solos were over. You just heard all the solos, and then it goes into this with chamber music almost.
Okay.
And then it comes back out with Todd just wailing on the guitar. But anyway. This tune to me is kind of like more of the same about how people who have a lust for power will sell the people a bill of goods. I'm sure people realize that a lot of this has been going on throughout the world since time immemorial. But we see it in a large measure. Around the world, and in fact, I've got a little liner note inside the album that says, "Liberty is under siege all over the world. Don't let it go down without a fight."
Wow.
Nice.
But the tune basically is about that people get sucked into this thing because a ruling class or a government will make all kinds of promises. About how they're going to take care of everything. They're going to take care of you all the time. And in the end, the ones that wind up footing the bill for it are the ones who've been promised the benefits.
Wow.
So
I see a theme here, Mike. I see a theme here in the first three songs: liberty and freedom. That's what this is about.
Well, if the travelogue, the whole idea of the travelogue is, it's like there's a series of stops as you'll notice there's a train imagery, right? Mm-hmm. And Martin Cornick did the artwork, and he came up with this, and it was like he did something for me without me even telling him what I wanted him to do, and he didn't even know what the lyrics were about. I looked at it, and the first thing I heard was, I remember that old soul song from the 60s about being on the train to freedom, right? Uh-huh. And I said, my God, it fits.
Perfect.
And so we used that idea.
Wow.
And Martin's artwork is just,
yeah.
I can't say enough great things about Martin and his artwork, because even though he and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, he gets... He sees things. He sees the same thing, maybe from a different point of view. So when I talked about what I was trying to do with the lyrics, he said, "Well, why don't I put like a picture of the Statue of Liberty in there too? You know, with only like all misshapen and deformed looking, and in darkness." Yeah. And if you look at the album cover, if you open and look at the cover art, you'll see behind the speeding train, you'll see it's going right past this Statue of Liberty.
The symbol of freedom and liberty, yeah.
Except that it's been twisted. So can't recognize it.
Right.
What's kind of weird about this album, Mike, is like Pierre said, this is the third track, and what's kind of weird about it seems like it's almost a concept album.
Well, it is.
It
didn't really start out to be that. It's just that I had these pieces that I realized with a few tweaks I had these lyrics, right? And I realized that with a few tweaks to the lyrics, they would all fit in a certain order. And just real quick, it's like the fourth song is I'm sorry, I messed you guys up. What I told you about Travelog is actually what I meant to say about the song called Her.
Okay, that's the fourth one, yeah.
Yeah, actually, Travelog is about a person realizing that that liberty is gradually being swept aside and not knowing what to do about it. Whereas Her is about a specific trap. I'm sorry, I got
no worries. It's all good.
Information backwards there.
No worries, but the bottom line is it's a theme about liberty and freedom, and now we're going to listen to the third track, which is Into the Lair.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back after that, Mike, with more, with Mike Visaggio.
And you got to listen to that fugue in the middle, because it really is something.
Okay.
We will, Mike.
We'll listen to it, headphones on, and then we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Hi there. This is Mike Visaggio of Kinetic Element, keyboardist and founder, and you're listening to Progcore Radio, the number one 100% prog rock and indie station in Montreal.
First, I'd like to say I see people that I haven't seen in like 40 years, and it's pretty heartwarming for you guys to get out here. Thank you. This next song is another selection off the Travelog album. the warmth that we give. Another will pay you to live. Take comfort in what we say. Your Eastman is not far away, arriving in yesterday's mail. Our leader is too big to fail. The common good is all that we teach and tell. Take from the successful, condemn them to hell. Nobody is right, so when they've taken your good, we'll make them pay. We told you we would. We told you we would. It isn't your fault, you see. You never had chances to be what those who you meant be became. And we'll equalize this great game. We'll tax the ones who did you harm. Around them our agents will swarm and spend without limit all sorrow. Our lives can be changed and we'll borrow. New guarantees will pass as we take over your life. You'll only be too happy to take the knife and cut your ties with the freedom that was, but no longer is. For nothing it does. a second, I think my liberty's gone on the blink. I thought you guys cared about me, but I've opened my eyes and I see. And say what I eat, what I buy. You say what
Okay, so we're back. We just heard the song Into the Lair, and Kinetic Element, the band. Of course, Travelog is the album. And we're here with Mike Visaggio. Excellent, excellent track. And there goes that theme again we were talking about, Mike, that liberty and freedom. We can see it, we can hear it in that track, too. Good stuff. All right, so next, Mike. Well, we did talk about the three vocalists already on the album, so you kind of went through that. We just wanted to do anything more to say about that, or?
Only that I'm so happy that we had them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have had this thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know, Mike, I think you're pretty harsh on yourself because I listened to your solo album, and I think it's great. It's a great album.
You, sir, are too kind. Thank you.
No, I mean it.
Don't make him choke on his Coca-Cola.
The best stuff on there is because the best stuff on there is the instrumental stuff. But look, you know, like I said, when I did Powered by Light,
Yeah.
I had a heck of a lot of help from the engineer. We actually had a friend of ours who came to see us play. Remember when I told you we played at Jack's, opening up for Circa?
Yep.
An old friend of mine from New York came down to that show. Came down from New York. And let's just say that he had a little too much to drink. And he said, Mike, you guys are great. When you're ready to go in the studio, let me know and I'll write the checks.
Wow.
And so I took him up on it.
Good for you. Good for you.
We went into a studio here in Richmond and he wrote the checks.
I was going to say, he kept his word, did he?
He sure did, even though he was drunk when he gave it.
Cool.
Excellent.
But anyway, the engineer made, did a lot of tricks with recording, such as, for example, lowering the track, a step or two so that I could hit a high note and then speeding it back up, and it sounded like I actually was able to do it. But I knew I couldn't pull that off forever. So when we got Demetrius, Demetrius, I don't know how to say this. I can't say enough wonderful things about Demetrius. He is a force of nature as a singer. He has nearly a 5-octave range, and I thought he was going to join the band. So you can imagine how disappointed we were when he wasn't able to continue. But thank God, Michelle Schrotz stepped in as lead vocalist of Brave here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. That's another band that I think deserves a lot more attention than they have gotten. And then Mike Florio, who is a solo artist in New York, who's got like 4 or 5 albums out. And Mike's kind of a cross between Steve Walsh and Billy Joel as a singer. Plus, he's a great keyboard player. And he's got, if you ever get a chance to go listen to find Mike Florio online, and, he doesn't want to be in a band. He likes putting out solo albums, but he decided he would come and sing with us. In fact, and you guys saw him perform with us at Terra Incognita.
Excellent.
And he doesn't quite have the range that Demetrius does, so he changed a few notes so that he would be able to sing something that sounded as good, if not as high.
Oh, it's really good.
Well, you guys sounded good anyways.
Yeah, sounded great to us, for sure.
Now, my next question, Mike, is I wanted to know, why did you engage Fred Skendel and Steve Babb of the legendary progressive rock band Glasshammer to mix the album Travelog? That's the question.
Because we knew we couldn't do a good enough job on it. But I'll tell you how. I think it's more interesting.
Sure.
But while we were recording, we finally took the plunge, got our own recording program, and Michael Murray our drummer, did the recording engineer duties on Travelog, and just session after session, sitting there learning how to make, I think it's Sonic X1 or I can't remember, Sonar X1 recording program work, and he got everything captured. And we were going to start to mix it, but we knew we wanted a better drum sound. We wanted better We wanted a couple of better keyboard sounds. We wanted certain textures, and we didn't know how to get them. And so as we were recording, I let it be known out there that we were probably going to try to engage somebody who was involved in the production of prog rock albums. And I contacted Billy Sherwood, and Billy was very nice to me, but we never actually got around to making a final arrangement on it. He got very busy. I wound up talking to Brett Cull, who is the guy from Echo Lynn, although the truth of the matter there is that Brett just didn't think we were all that interesting, and he wasn't all that interested in doing it.
Well, it misses shot, man.
And, but whatever. I mean, everybody's entitled to
Their opinion.
what they want to get involved with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's no hard feelings. And I also talked to Matt Brookins, the guy who is the man who wears all the hats with Odin's Court, which is the band that Demetrius comes from, and we were kind of sort of about to engage him when out of the clear blue sky, I got a message. I got a message on Facebook from Fred Schendel.
Wow.
I said, Mike, we hear that you guys are going to hire somebody. And he says, if you haven't done anybody yet, we want the gig. I said, what?
So did you have a personal relationship with them already, or?
I didn't even know he knew who we were.
Wow.
Oh, really? Eh?
But it turns out that actually Steve Babb,
Of course.
the bass player,
Right.
Steve was aware of us because of some interactions he and I had back in 2008 on a Yahoo message board, a Christian progressive rock message board, because those guys have been very into, speaking about spiritual things.
Like Neil Morris, no?
And so, but Steve and Fred had actually been following us for 4 or 5 years. I mean, in terms of following what I was posting online. And he'd interact with me every so often, but I didn't know it was him.
Okay.
Because he was using a different name.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't even know that I mean, come on. I mean, still remember riding up to Canada the first time with Michael Murray, and he's turning me on to all this Glass Hammer music, and I'm going, oh my God, these guys are unbelievable, right? And so you can imagine my shock when they come and approach us and said, we want the gig mixing. And so we talked on the phone. They were great people. Oh my gosh, they're such wonderful people. And I just said to Fred, look, we're really probably going to make a judgment on this based on what you guys can do for our drum sound. So he said, well, send me a track, and I'll do a quick run through. I'll concentrate on the drums. And he wanted to audition for us for the gig.
Goodness.
I mean,
How flattering is that, eh?
I don't even know how to put into words how amazed I was.
Mm-hmm.
He sent this cut back to us with the drums completely redone. I mean, not in sound-wise. They didn't re-record them. They just altered the drum sound, because I said I kind of would like the drums to sound something along the lines of what I hear on an IQ album. Something that's got clarity, power, a lot of punch. Because Michael's not a real virtuoso drummer. He doesn't have to. You don't have to. So what we want to get out of him is the force. We want to get the power out of what he's doing. And so they sent it back, and we all looked at each other like, oh my gosh, that sounds good. So we reached an agreement, and they, God bless them,
did a great job.
They worked with us on the money and everything, and all I can say is they made us sound like we knew what the heck we were doing.
Well, maybe you did know what you were doing, Mike. Maybe that's what it's
I was
all about,
gonna say.
eh?
Well, what I mean by that is that, I mean, I knew we had the material.
Yeah.
But I had to have somebody with the with the experience.
Right.
Because that's all they do. You know, they run a recording studio down there in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and they were wanting, it turns out they were wanting to do some work with progressive rock bands. Because when you run a recording studio, and this is the fellow in Richmond from 6 years ago told us this also, says 85% of what walks in the door is rappers.
Uh-huh.
You know? And after a while, they need a break from that.
Yeah. But you know, Mike, from listening to your story, I mean, you know, maybe, sometimes maybe you are a little bit harsh on yourself, harsh on the band. If there was no quality there, they wouldn't waste their time. So there's something that they saw, and that's a good thing.
Well, I don't mean to put anybody in my band down or anything like that, because I am very blessed to be working with 4 guys who are truly fellow travelers. And you can't ask for anything more than that when you're in Prog. You know, I mean, if you've got sufficient talent and sufficient thinking ability to wrap your mind around the music, around the concepts, and you have the love for, you know, in here for what the genre is, that's 90% of it right there. And everything else is just, you know, bringing the what's the word I'm looking for? Everything else is just like kind of tying things together so that it results in a product.
Right.
We're such a small community.
Yeah.
And the fact that everybody is sticking together like that, I think it's good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So now,
you know, we've been through our things with each other. You know,
Mike.
But somehow,
we're like a family. That's what a family goes through. That's what it's about.
Well, in the end, I just, you know, said, I'm not interested in having to replace any of you guys. I said, nobody gets fired here. If somebody wants out, well, that's life, but, you know, I'm not interested in having somebody else walk in here, and then we get the gig in England. Somebody else gets the benefit of you having put years of your life into this thing. So, you know, things have pretty well healed well,
Excellent.
I think. And so and where we are right now is just if everybody can get past some life issues that
speed bumps.
People get.
We call them speed bumps.
People have things in their lives that they have to be able to cope with so that they can get to doing what they really want to do. Right? So kind of that's where we are right now, and that's why it's taken us so long to get more product out. But after hearing what we've done with the first piece so far, I am very encouraged. And I think I couldn't do it without these guys.
Perfect.
Obviously.
well, obviously, you're doing a great job. And Mike, now it's time for another track, Mikey boy. And this track is the 4th track, and it's called Her, of course, from the album Travelog. So before we play this track, you have any comments on this track, Mike?
Just very quick, because I actually already...
Yeah, you talked about it a little bit already,
I got my tracks mixed up.
All right. Well, here we are.
The bit about the jihadists actually, or the totalitarian regime, that actually is what
this
is.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
so
I did it twice.
Okay, so we're going to listen to this track right now. The track is Her, the band Kinetic Element, and the album Travelog. And we will be right back after.
Hi there, this is Mike Visaggio of Kinetic Element, keyboardist and founder, and you're listening to Progcore Radio, the #1, 100% prog rock and indie station in Montreal.
with great sensitivity, holding his head as her lover. None came so close intimately to ever leave with another. She's not deceptive at all. She cuts straight from the heart. No, she's not very subtle. And I'm not just playing that part. Ought to be free, seeking escape from her. Her voice in the night terrors. Her love releases ecstasy. But no child she wants bears. Her spite cuts viciously. Wayward men before were lost, searching from behind, beware. Mountain seas that have no cost. Once arrived, don't take her there. Ought to be free, seeking escape from her. Escape from her. Distant thoughts, constant hope, shining hills, evolving lies, constant truth calling to me. Together one, apart be damned. She is my bond. Long for her, taste for her, I reach for her. Run with me, flee the fire, tear away her tears. cost. The joys to arrive. Wayward men before were lost. Searching from behind, beware. Mountain seas that have no cost. Once arrived, I'd let her stare. To be free, seeking escape from her. From her.
All right, we just heard the track "Her." Mike told us about it, and Liberty, Freedom Again. That's what this is about. It's from the album Travelog, and of course, Kinetic Element. And we're here with Mike Visaggio. Thanks, Mike, for spending time with us again today. I must say it. We appreciate it very, very much. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it also.
Hey.
And I just want to say that I was very desirous to have an interview with you guys just because of how emotional the experience was to coming to Quebec to play.
Oh,
and
thank you.
It meant it just the whole
Concept.
the whole atmosphere of being among your people up there was just very uplifting for me, I guess. And so I was wanting to reconnect with everybody up there in Quebec in some way and let you guys know that we appreciated the greeting that we were given and the way you guys responded to our music, and also that we are trying to get something else out there for you. And it'll get there eventually.
Excellent, Mike.
But it's kind of weird, Mike, that you talk about this because me and Pierre already talked to. We did interviews with Third Degree,
Yep.
Elephants of Scotland,
Yep.
and you guys right
Yeah,
now today. And you all came to the province of Quebec,
Yeah.
and you all felt something different.
Up
And
here.
what I'm coming to is that we're going to ask you, what was your best souvenir when you opened the Terra Incognita Festival in Quebec? And this, of course, was on May 2nd, 2016. So what was the atmosphere like? And what is different about... Do you feel anything different playing up here or anywhere else?
Well, as I've said, being an American that doesn't get out of the country all that much, anytime I go to a foreign country, I am acutely aware that I'm in a place that I'm in a different kind of a realm. It's just that for me anyway, I was a student of the French language when I was in high school, so the times that I've come to Quebec, I came for Expo 67 when I was 15 years old, and then the next time I came up was all those years later for Pop Montreal.
Wow.
Well, I should say also I was in Canada driving my 18-wheeler a few times. And so I was in Ontario and Quebec bringing people freight.
What about the Grey Cup?
But I didn't get to go to the Grey Cup. Oh, don't get me started on that.
I'm just kidding.
I can tell you some stuff about what happened in Baltimore that
Okay.
blow your mind, because I actually made friends with the broadcasters
Wow.
in Baltimore. Anyway, but let me not go there.
Oh.
First of all, I gotta say a special, huge thank you to Fred Simino. Why am I not? Is that his name? I'm having a brain aneurysm here. Fred Simino. I'm pretty sure that's his last name. We stayed with him. We stayed at his house, and he was the most gracious and and friendly, and you could feel the love in his heart for the whole genre of music, but also the fact that he felt honored to have us there, and we felt like this was such a wonderful act of kindness to take us into his home and board us. It was just awesome. And being staying up until all hours of the night after the dates at the art center, and just talking about progressive rock and who's doing what. Well, it's just, if I had a favorite memory of it, that would probably be it, because it was a very touching and intimate thing for somebody to do that for us.
That's great.
Of course, when we set up our vendor table, I gotta be honest with you, we were not prepared for the onslaught of people that were coming to us because they had wanted to buy our products. Because we had just played at Rozfest
Right.
before that, and while we got a good reception at Rozfest, the intensity of the experience was much more coming to Quebec and meeting all these good people. And that they were a lot more interested to find out who we were, where, as you guys are being here.
Well, that's why we were there, Mike.
Yeah, we saw you, Mike. We were there, remember? We took pictures with you.
We have a family picture.
J'ai oublié.
Well, just go on our website, progcoreradio.com. There's a gallery there, all our photo gallery, and you're there with us.
Yes, I'm aware of
Take
that.
a look.
And the funny thing about this too, I remember Michael, the drummer, wasn't all that sure that he wanted to go, because he just didn't want to sit in the car for 20 hours to get up there. Right? Because Todd flew up, Mark flew up, Demetrius. I don't even remember how Demetrius got up there, but Mike and I drove because I had all my keyboards and some of his drums, and I couldn't put that on an airplane. Whereas Todd only had to bring his guitar, so he just threw that into my car and such. But anyway, and when we were on the way back down after the festival was over, driving through New York State in the middle of the night, and Mike said to me, he goes, "I just want to say thank you for convincing me to do this." He says, "because this was one of the greatest experiences of my life."
Excellent.
I have another question for you, Mike.
And this is an important one, Mike.
Very important, because usually nobody asks this question, but we're going to ask it. We'd like to know, what do you think of web radios like Prog Radio, and are they important to bands like yours, and why?
How about they're all important? You know what I mean by all important?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
They're so important that it's beyond even describing how important they are. Because, well, let's face it, if it weren't for the internet, all of us wouldn't have found one another.
You're very right there, yes.
For all the bad things that the internet makes possible, we put up with that because of all the good things that the internet makes possible. Were it not for this, what radio station is going to put a 20-minute piece of music on that doesn't have Alicia Keys' name on it, right? Or something like that. It wouldn't happen. But here, Prog fans can go and they can just immerse themselves. And that's all they want to do, right? They want to just bathe themselves in the brilliance of this music, because you can't really besides if you can't hear it anyplace else, the emotional connection is always so great.
Okay.
Eugenia, my wife just walked in.
Oh, hi, Eugenia.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
The Moose.
Oh, that's cool.
This is Andre the Moose.
Excellent.
Ah, that's cool.
We got a few of those up here.
Andre Pierre.
Andre Pierre.
Is your wife beside you?
Do you want to?
Yeah, I want to say hi.
No, she doesn't want to do that.
Oh, she's shy. Okay.
We'll do an interview with her next week.
We got this at the duty-free shop as we were entering back into the United States, and I just wanted to have something to give to her.
Perfect.
This is our way of getting her 2 cents in.
Well, very nice of her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, her name is Eugenia, but I sometimes call her Eugenie.
Eugenie, yeah.
Oh, Eugenie, merci beaucoup.
Very well. Very well said.
So yes, it's all important. The Prog radio. I mean, I guess we've been played on probably 30 stations, and I've just gone out of my way to make sure that the stations either have hard, physical product, or at least have the files, so that if that's whatever way they want to go, like if it's out of the country, I send them the files because it's just too expensive to send a hard copy, unless it's to Canada. Canada, I'll pay for. But
thanks, Mike.
Trying to send something to Europe, it's like you have to take out a bank loan. But anyway, now what? The moose needs a mate.
Yes.
Are you nuts?
We'll find you one, Mike. We'll find you
Well,
one.
sorry, I'm married.
Sorry, I'm married.
If they hear a single lady moose, it means
Eugenia.
Eugenie, viens dire bonjour. Eugenie, viens dire bonjour.
Her hair is not perfect, so she
Okay.
doesn't want on camera.
Oh, mine is, I suppose. Well, anyways, Mike, this is likewise because we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
The radio and the bands.
Yeah, we need each other, and that's pretty much what it's about. So
We have to support each other.
I don't see how the radio and the bands don't have a love relationship.
yeah, they have to.
Because it isn't. Nobody's doing this because they want to make a pile of money.
No.
I mean, some bands maybe are getting by, supporting themselves, but I mean, you don't see bands parading around like they Led Zeppelin.
Well, there's a lot of work and a lot of headaches considering what you get back financially. That's really what it's about. So it's got to be about the passion somewhere.
Yeah, correct. Okay, well, what else you got for me, guys?
Well, the other thing is, when you started, you didn't have a label, and today you do have a label, right?
Yeah,
you have a label?
That's another story.
Oh, it is.
That's another story. I mean, I was sending my stuff around. I sent it to Moon June. Didn't even hear back from them. I sent our stuff to. I'm having trouble remembering the names of the labels now. Damn it. Make a long story short. 10T Records turned us down.
Okay. Oh, really?
They said that it didn't meet their standards.
Wow.
And so, I admit that was for Powered by Light. And Powered by Light, we were still learning what to do.
Yeah, but that's a great album. Yeah, but that is a great album.
So, what happened was we were fortunate that Nick Katona was looking for bands for his label, and he had heard our stuff, and he said, I guess he said, this is halfway decent, and so he sent me a note one day, I guess it was in 2012, saying that he wanted us for his label. So that was all great. So I went to Rosfest and he didn't bring the contract. So I said, well, how are we going to sign him? He says, don't worry, Mike, I'll get it for you. So another whole year goes by. Oh. And I see him at Rosfest in 2013. And I said, so Nick, what's this? What about this contract? What is this contract of which you speak? Right? He says, Mike, I'm so sorry, I forgot it. But we had a handshake, which was more than we had the first time. And Nick, of course, is a character. He's a really, really great guy, and he's so funny, and he walks around with that top hat. all the time. So shortly after that, he did send me a contract. So we've been signed to Melodic Revolution Records, which of course is being on a Prog label is not being like being on Atlantic Records or anything. But Nick, what they're going to say about Nick, he's a promoting maniac, and he'll really make the effort to make sure that your presence on his websites are known in the Prog world.
Well,
So
congrats to you, Mike.
Yeah.
Very happy for you.
I was very glad to get somebody that believed in what we were doing and was willing to say, here's a piece of paper that says I'm willing to believe in what you're doing. And so as fate would have it, we turned out to be the first Melodic Revolution Records band on a major prog festival. And so,
Good
Nick
for you.
Nick is very happy that we're on his label, and we're happy that we're there.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Now, before we go on, is there a new album in the works, or do you have a tour or gigs or whatever?
There is only one piece of music being assembled, and the truth be told, we have some, as I said, there are some internal. There's not tensions among the band, but there's everybody in the band has got some things going on outside of the band,
Right.
that are issues that they have to deal with.
Okay.
And so it's very hard to say when there's going to be another Kinetic Element album. All I can tell you is that there's definitely at least going to be one new piece of music that we put out there that we're working on, and I hope to have it. I thought it was going to be ready by now, but of course it's not. But at least we know how it goes anyway. It's 16 minutes long, and it's another typical Kinetic Element epic. We're kind of getting known for that. There is no tour.
Okay.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't really know how to put one together, and I don't have anybody to put one together for me. But we are going to Progtoberfest in October.
Right.
And I've contacted, actually, believe it or not, I contacted a couple of colleges up there in Michigan and Illinois because I know people that at those schools that are involved with their music presentations. They have theater type venues. So I'm trying to get one arranged with one of them. I had toyed with the idea of trying to put together a 2-week tour because I know bands in. I've been online so much, I've gone to so many festivals now that I know bands in Cleveland and Buffalo and Syracuse. I know in Boston and New York, and I'm hoping that I can put together something at some point that would be 2 weeks, 7 dates in 2 weeks. But I don't know right now if everybody in the band can even do it.
Right. That's another story, yeah.
No problem, Mike.
I mean, if somebody came along and said, we want to put you, like, believe it or not, there was a person up in Canada, I don't know if you know about this, about 3 years ago, there was a person up there who approached us and a number of other bands with the idea of putting together a tour, and they were throwing around the names of Mystery and Saga.
Who are you talking about? What?
And it's not important. It's a guy that turned out to be
Okay.
It's a guy who turned out to be a fraud, and so that tour never materialized. But that was the closest that we had come, that we thought we had come,
Okay.
to actually doing a tour. So whether or not I've done one tour in my whole life. Not that I want to want people to feel sorry for old Mikey or anything, but basically I've been on the sidelines watching all these bands have all this success, while I've had to sit here and just keep pounding away trying to make a dent. And when I got this phone call, I thought that we had finally hit on something, but it turned out to all be a big.
Maybe someday, Mike. Perseverance.
But I would like nothing. I used to play the keyboards in a band back in the 70s, an Americana style, like a Bruce Springsteen style kind of band. It was a singer-songwriter by the name of Billy Falcon, who's actually, he's still around, he's quite good, and he actually is Bon Jovi's, one of John Bon Jovi's songwriting partners now. But I was in his band called Billy Falcon's Burning Rose, and I got to do one tour in 1979 with that band, and that's been the only time in my whole life I've actually spent a week. I spent 2 or 3 weeks out there finding out what it might be like.
Well, listen, I mean, you're going to festivals, you're getting around. That's the main thing, right? And you guys are busy. So we're looking actually forward to the new album. When you guys are ready, man, keep us in mind, please. We're looking forward to that.
Oh, I mean, if we get another album out there, I'm fine away.
I'm sure you're going to have one, Mike. You're working on it, Mike. I'm sure you're going to have one. No doubt in my mind. But now we're going to continue with this album that we're listening to today. It's the album Travelog, and of course, again, the band is Kinetic Element, and we're here with Mike Visaggio, the face of this band, the face, the founder. And Mike, now we're going to listen to the 5th track. It's called Vision of a New Dawn. That is an unbelievable track, in my opinion. And I'm sure probably, maybe a lot of people's opinion, but my opinion, I found it just an unbelievable track. It is an epic track, of course, as you said. You guys are starting to get known for this. But yeah, again, anything special to say about this track, Mike, before we hear it?
Oh, well, let's see. It consists of 4 movements, and it was one of those things where each one of the movements was actually conceived of separately, and over a period of 3 or 4 band practices, we all realized, oh my gosh, these things all fit together. We can structure the lyrics in a way that is coherent, and it probably contains the best single thing I've ever written at this point, which is the 3rd movement, the big synthesizer lead movement. Where some bunch of people have compared it to Cinema Show by Genesis. At any rate, the sense of the lyrics is just that if you see what I see, what's happening in the world, and you think that the liberty of the individual kind of comes ahead of the collective common good, or in other words, saying that the common good is created by the success of free individuals, which is kind of where my philosophy is. That you don't start with the collective and then shove everybody into a model,
right?
And that's going to work. You got to let people be free, and in the process of millions and millions of people pursuing what's in their hearts to pursue, people benefit because you can't help but interact with others. So that's kind of the gist of the lyrics, and if you see what I see, then it's time to stand up and proclaim it, and just be, how can I put it?
Be who you are?
Not be who you are. It's like be the change that you want to see. Right? Don't wait for somebody.
So be the leader. Don't be the sheep. Be the leader.
Yeah, you be it. You know, and the funny thing about it is I was going to end this piece on a major chord because I thought it was the thing with major and minor modes, I guess you call them, major and minor keys have different emotional contexts to them, and it's going through this the very end of the tune is going through this series of complex chords that I thought was going to end with a victorious sounding E major chord. And Todd goes, no, relative minor. There's C sharp minor. And we stuck C sharp minor on that, and it actually made, in my opinion, it made the whole piece, because it's saying that, to me it was saying that no matter how far along you get on proclaiming individual liberty, the battle's never over.
Wow.
So true.
Is that ever well said or what? No doubt about it. So Mike, if you want, we're going to move on now to this track, and again, in my opinion, an unbelievable track. Just a great track. Vision of a New Dawn from the album Travelog by Kinetic Element. And after this track, we're going to be back, Mike, with the final words and some comments. We'll see you in a few minutes. Enjoy.
Hi there, this is Mike Visaggio of Kinetic Element, keyboardist and founder, and you're listening to Prog Core Radio, the number one 100% prog rock and indie station in Montreal.
I'm just going to mix it in here.
So we just listened to Vision of a New Dawn, a spectacular song, epic track. Definitely, Mike, I got to tell you, personally, again, I said it before, definitely one of my favorites. It's just an unbelievable track. It's from the album Travelog, and of course the band is Kinetic Element. That album came out June 1st, 2015, and we just spent, maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours with Mike Visaggio. Thank you very much, Mike, again. And now we are down to final words, Mike, about say what you got to say. It's your thing. Comments on the interview, whatever. This is your time.
But, Mike, before you go on, do you have any French, a little bit of French for the people in Montreal?
Oh, my goodness.
You can do it. Come on.
Mon français est terrible.
That's very good.
Il est très bon.
That's very good.
Je veux dire que j'aime toutes les personnes qui j'ai fait la connaissance en Québec. Et je voudrais rentrer à Québec avec Kinetic Element, élément kinétique.
Yes, yes. That's right.
Parce que j'ai vu l'amour que les Prog fans tiennent dans leur cœur pour le genre.
Wow, it's really good, Mike.
Et je veux dire que chaque personne I can't figure it out.
I'll say the word in English and I'll tell you what it is in French.
Can I go into English?
Yes, please. It's all right. Well done. Thank you. Well done.
Each person made me feel special. Every single person there made me feel that I had really done something good. and that to me is more than heart could wish. It
Excellent.
just is.
Very well said.
Very well said.
At least in English.
Perfect, Mike.
Perfect, Mike.
Merci beaucoup.
So what we can do now, I mean, we're pretty much at the end of the interview right now, Mike, and what we might want to do is maybe we might want to end after these final words, maybe the interview with a track, another track, or maybe one of Mike's tracks or something.
Mike, what track would you like us to play
to end the interview?
Right.
Oh, something maybe from Powered by Light?
Okay.
You name it. You name it.
You name it, we put it.
You can do the short one. It's only 7 minutes.
No.
It's only
Mike,
8 minutes long.
Doesn't matter,
Mike,
Mike.
we're not an AM FM station.
Yeah.
We're
yeah.
web radio.
Yeah.
If you have a track at 20 minutes, we'll put it.
Yeah, whatever you want, Mike. You tell us, and that'll be the track.
I would say one of the ones that you don't hear so much on the stations would be Now and Forever.
Now and Forever?
Right.
Okay.
Now and Forever on Powered by Light.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do, Mike. So with that, what we're going to do right now is we're going to thank you for your time, this great interview.
Thank you, guys.
No, Mike, we're like Denis said before, we're all in this together. So thank you, absolutely. It's been a great time today. And of course, we want to wish you and the band the best of luck with all your projects, all of them. Gigs, concerts, festivals, albums, whatever. We're there. You need anything, you let us know. And after this, we're going to follow up with the song Now and Forever from the album
Powered by Light.
Powered by Light. Avec ça, Mike, bonsoir et merci. And we really, really, really hope to see you guys in Montreal or anywhere in Canada very, very soon.
Mike, if you do come down to Montreal, give us a call, make us a sign, and we'll have a few pints together.
We'll have a few beers. You can have your Coca-Cola, but we'll have a great time anyways.
Whatever.
I might sneak some rum into the Coke.
All right.
Cool. Will do.
Sounds good.
Thank you guys. I'm very, very happy that you guys decided to have me on. You have no idea.
It's our pleasure, Mike.
Like I said, it was coming to Montreal, coming to Quebec that made me understand there was something special going on among progressive rock fans north of the border. And all I can say is j'aime toutes les personnes.
Fantastic.
Merci beaucoup, Mike.
Okay, and with that, Mike, we're going to end the show or the interview with actually, I think it's a very typical.
Superb.
It's a very typical. It's a perfect ending. The name of the track, Now and Forever.
Don't forget it, Mike.
Thanks a lot, Mike. See you soon. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. God bless you guys.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi there. This is Mike Visaggio of Kinetic Element, keyboardist and founder, and you're listening to Progcore Radio, the number one 100% prog rock and indie station in Montreal.
This one's called Now and Forever.